Margaret walked into my office carrying a notebook filled with supplement names she'd copied from the internet. She was 73. She wanted to know which pills would keep cancer away. I looked at that list: milk thistle, turmeric extract, resveratrol, 12 other compounds with names she could barely pronounce. And I had to tell her something nobody had told her before. Not one item on that list mattered as much as the one thing she did every single day without even thinking about it. The thing that determined whether abnormal cells in her body would quietly disappear or silently multiply. She looked at me like I'd just told her the earth was flat. She'd spent $200 on supplements that month. She'd read articles. She'd watched videos. She'd done everything the internet told her to do. And she'd completely missed the one intervention backed by 3 decades of oncology research. That gap between what people believe prevents cancer and what actually does. That's the gap I've spent 28 years trying to close. And if you're over 70, that gap might be the difference between a routine checkup and a diagnosis that changes everything. The tragedy is that most people never discover this gap until they're sitting across from someone like me holding pathology results. They never learn that their body was sending signals for years. Signals that could have been read. Signals that could have been acted on. But nobody taught them what to look for. Stay with me. What I'm about to share isn't sold in bottles. It's not advertised. It's not complicated. But it requires you to understand something fundamental about how cancer actually starts after 70. I'm Dr. Alan Brenner. I've been an oncologist for 28 years. I've treated more than 1,800 cancer patients. I've held hands in treatment rooms when the news was good and when it wasn't. I've reviewed thousands of pathology reports, stood in operating rooms while surgeons removed tumors the size of oranges, and sat with families who wanted to know one thing: could this have been prevented? I've watched surgical teams work for 8 hours to remove masses that had been growing undetected for years. I've seen tissue samples under microscopes that showed cancer cells mixed with perfectly healthy cells, all living side by side because the immune system never recognized the threat. I've held beating hearts in my hands during thoracic procedures and felt the weight of knowing that prevention was possible. Here's what nobody tells you. The answer is often yes. Not always, not with every cancer, but far more often than people realize. And the prevention method isn't exotic. It's not expensive. It's not even difficult, but it requires you to understand something about your body after 70 that most people never learn until it's too late. The medical system doesn't prioritize prevention. It prioritizes treatment. There's no billing code for teaching someone how to maintain vitamin D levels. There's no procedure code for explaining immune senescence. But there are dozens of codes for chemotherapy, radiation, surgery, and follow-up scans. The system is built to respond to disease, not prevent it. And that's why people like Margaret walk into my office with notebooks full of supplements instead of understanding the basics of immune function. Your immune system at 70 is not the same immune system you had at 40. It's not weaker, that's the myth. It's selective. It's tired of fighting every single battle. And if you don't give it the one specific resource it needs to identify and destroy abnormal cells, it starts letting things slide. That's when cancer gets a foothold. After 70, your body enters what we call immune senescence. That's the medical term for an aging immune system that's still functional, but increasingly picky about what it responds to. Think of it like a veteran security guard who's been working the same building for 30 years. He knows every face, he's seen every trick. But after 3 decades, he's not chasing down every suspicious person anymore. He's conserving energy. He's prioritizing. Your immune system does the same thing. It stops mounting full responses to every abnormal cell. It focuses on the threats it recognizes as immediate. And here's the problem. Early cancer cells don't look like immediate threats. They look like your own cells with tiny mutations. Your immune system at 70 needs a very specific signal to recognize those cells as dangerous. Without that signal, it walks right past them. One study from the Journal of Clinical Oncology tracked immune function in adults over 70 for 9 years. The people whose immune systems maintained strong surveillance against abnormal cells had a 63% lower incidence of solid tumors. 63%. The difference wasn't genetics. It wasn't luck. It was one daily habit that kept their immune surveillance active. Let me walk you through the 5 things you need to understand about cancer prevention after 70. These aren't guesses. These aren't trends. These are mechanisms I've watched play out in patient after patient for nearly 3 decades. Number 1. Your body produces abnormal cells every single day. Right now, as you're watching this, cells in your colon, your lungs, your skin are dividing. Most of those divisions go perfectly, but some don't. A gene gets copied wrong. A protein misfolds. A regulatory mechanism fails. You produce somewhere between 1,000 and 10,000 abnormal cells every single day. That's normal. That's expected. Your immune system is designed to find those cells and eliminate them before they become a problem. But here's what changes after 70. The surveillance mechanism that identifies those cells, natural killer cells, T cells, macrophages, they all depend on one specific molecule to function at full capacity. Without enough of that molecule, they miss cells. They let abnormal cells survive long enough to divide, and that's when cancer starts. I had a patient named Robert, 76, retired electrician. Came in for a routine colonoscopy. We found 3 polyps, removed them, all precancerous. He asked me the question everyone asks, why did I get these? I looked at his chart. I asked him one question. How much time do you spend outside between October and March? He said maybe 10 minutes a day walking to his car. Write that down. That 10-minute answer explained everything. Here's the fix Robert needed, and here's the fix you need if you're over 70. You need to get your vitamin D level above 40 nanograms per milliliter and keep it there. Not 30, not 35, 40 or higher. That's the threshold where immune surveillance stays active. You cannot do this with food. You cannot do this with 15 minutes of sun 3 times a week. After 70, your skin produces 60% less vitamin D from sunlight than it did at 30. You need supplementation. 2,000 to 4,000 IU daily, depending on your baseline level. Get your level tested. Get it above 40. Keep it there. That is the one-day habit that prevents cancer after 70. Every single day, without exception, your immune system needs vitamin D to recognize abnormal cells as threats. Number 2, inflammation after 70 isn't just aches and pains. It's a cancer promoter. Chronic low-grade inflammation creates an environment where abnormal cells thrive. Your body at 70 has been exposed to decades of environmental toxins, processed foods, stress hormones, and physical wear. That creates baseline inflammation. Inflammation produces molecules called cytokines. Some cytokines help healing, others promote cell growth. Cancer cells exploit growth-promoting cytokines. They use inflammation as fertilizer. If your body is in a constant state of low-grade inflammation, you're giving abnormal cells the resources they need to multiply. Here's the mechanism most people never learn. Inflammation suppresses the very immune cells that hunt cancer. It's a double hit. It feeds abnormal cells and blinds the immune system at the same time. I treated a woman named Diane, 71, diagnosed with early-stage breast cancer. During her workup, we ran inflammatory markers. Her C-reactive protein was elevated. Not sky high, just chronically elevated. She wasn't sick. She didn't feel inflamed, but her body was. We talked about her diet. She ate what she thought was healthy: whole grain bread, low-fat yogurt, chicken breast, rice. But she was eating bread with every meal. She was consuming foods that spiked her blood sugar 6 times a day. Every blood sugar spike triggers an inflammatory response. Her body had been inflamed for years. Have you checked your inflammatory markers in the last 12 months? If not, you're flying blind. Here's the fix. You need to eliminate foods that spike blood sugar after every meal. That means reducing or removing bread, pasta, rice, potatoes, and anything made with flour. Replace them with non-starchy vegetables, healthy fats, and moderate protein. Your blood sugar should not swing wildly 3 times a day. Stable blood sugar equals low inflammation. Low inflammation equals an environment where cancer cells struggle to survive. Number 3, your gut microbiome at 70 controls more of your cancer risk than you realize. 70% of your immune system lives in your gut. Not your bloodstream, not your lymph nodes, your gut. The bacteria in your intestines train your immune cells. They teach T cells what to attack and what to ignore. If your microbiome is damaged, if you're dominated by inflammatory bacteria instead of protective bacteria, your immune system gets bad training. It becomes less effective at identifying cancer cancer cells. It may even start attacking your own healthy tissue instead of focusing on abnormal cells. After 70, your microbiome is fragile. Decades of antibiotics, processed foods, stress, and medications have altered the bacterial landscape. Most people over 70 have lost microbial diversity. They're down to a few dominant species instead of the hundreds of species they had at 30. That loss of diversity weakens immune surveillance. A study published in Science showed that people with high microbial diversity had immune systems that responded aggressively to tumor cells. People with low diversity had immune systems that barely responded at all. Same person, same cancer, different microbiome, different outcome. I had a patient named Raymond, 74, history of diverticulitis, multiple rounds of antibiotics over the years. He developed bladder cancer. We treated it successfully, but during recovery, we rebuilt his microbiome. Prebiotics, probiotics, fermented foods. His energy came back. His digestion improved. But more importantly, his immune markers improved. His natural killer cell activity doubled in 6 months. Do you eat fermented foods every single day? If the answer is no, your microbiome isn't getting the support it needs. Here's the fix. Every day you need to consume something fermented. Sauerkraut, kimchi, kefir, unsweetened yogurt with live cultures, miso, and you need to feed the good bacteria with fiber from vegetables. Not fiber from grain. Fiber from broccoli, Brussels sprouts, asparagus, onions, garlic. Your microbiome is your immune system's training ground. Train it well. But here's what I need you to understand before we go further. None of this matters if you ignore the fourth thing on this list, because the fourth thing determines whether everything else works. Stay with me. Number 4. Your sleep quality after 70 determines whether your immune system repairs itself or deteriorates. Sleep is when your body clears out damaged cells. It's when your immune system resets. It's when your brain clears metabolic waste. If you're not getting deep restorative sleep, your body can't complete those processes. You wake up with yesterday's cellular damage still circulating. Add today's damage on top of that. Repeat for years. That cumulative damage is what leads to cancer. Deep sleep triggers the release of growth hormone. Even at 70, you produce growth hormone during deep sleep. Growth hormone doesn't just build muscle, it repairs DNA. It activates immune cells. It clears out senescent cells, cells that should have died but didn't. Those senescent cells secrete inflammatory molecules. They poison the tissue around them. They create the perfect environment for cancer. If you're not sleeping deeply, those cells accumulate. Most people over 70 are not getting deep sleep. They're getting light sleep interrupted by bathroom trips, sleep apnea, restless legs, or anxiety. They wake up feeling unrested. They assume that's just aging. It's not. It's a fixable problem. And fixing it might be more important for cancer prevention than anything else you do. I treated a man named Kenneth, 78, diagnosed with prostate cancer. His PSA had been creeping up for 3 years. Nobody addressed his sleep. He was waking up 4 times a night to urinate. He had untreated sleep apnea. His oxygen levels were dropping 30 times an hour. His body was in chronic stress mode. We treated the cancer, but I also sent him to a sleep specialist. He got a CPAP machine. He reduced his nighttime water intake. He started sleeping 6 uninterrupted hours. His PSA stabilized. His energy returned. His immune markers improved. How many times do you wake up at night? If it's more than once, you're not getting the repair your body needs. Here's the fix. If you're waking up to urinate, stop drinking fluids 3 hours before bed. If you snore or wake up gasping, get a sleep study. If your mind races at night, address it with magnesium glycinate or cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia. Your immune system rebuilds itself during deep sleep. No deep sleep equals no immune repair. No immune repair equals no cancer surveillance. Number 5. Your body's ability to remove damaged cells after 70 depends on a process called autophagy. Autophagy is your body's recycling system. It breaks down damaged proteins, dysfunctional mitochondria, and cells that should have been cleared out. It's like a cellular garbage truck. When autophagy is active, your cells stay clean and functional. When it's suppressed, garbage accumulates. That garbage includes the kind of damaged DNA and misfolded proteins that lead to cancer. Autophagy declines with age, but it also declines when you eat constantly. Every time you eat, insulin rises. Insulin shuts down autophagy. If you're eating from the moment you wake up until the moment you go to bed, you're never activating your body's cleaning system. You're letting damaged cellular material pile pile up year after year. I had a patient named Lorraine, 72, ovarian cancer. During treatment, I asked her about her eating pattern. She ate breakfast at 7, snack at 10, lunch at noon, snack at 3, dinner at 6, dessert at 8. She was eating or snacking every 2 to 3 hours. Her body never had a chance to clean itself. Her insulin was elevated all day. Her autophagy was completely suppressed. After treatment, we changed her eating window. She ate her meals within an 8-hour window. She stopped snacking. She gave her body 16 hours every day to activate autophagy. Her energy improved, her digestion improved, and her cancer markers stayed undetectable. When was the last time you went 12 hours without eating? If you can't remember, your autophagy isn't working. Here's the fix. Compress your eating into a 10-hour window or less. If you eat breakfast at 8, finish your last meal by 6. No snacks, no late night eating. Water, black coffee, and tea are fine. But food shuts down the cleaning process. Your body needs time every single day to clear out the damage. Give it that time, starting tonight. I need to tell you something I don't talk about often. I've stood in operating rooms and watched surgeons remove tumors that didn't need to exist. I've sat with families in waiting rooms and delivered news that broke them. And the hardest part, the part that stayed with me for 28 years, is knowing how many of those cases started with something small, something preventable, a vitamin D level that was never checked, a sleep problem that was never treated, an eating pattern that suppressed the body's ability to repair itself. I'm not talking about blame. I'm talking about information that never reached people in time. Ordinary habits that seemed harmless but quietly shifted the balance from health to disease. Your heart has been working for you every single minute of your life without asking for a break. Your immune system has been protecting you from thousands of threats you'll never even know about. But after 70, those systems need support. They need you to understand what they require to keep working. And they need you to act on that understanding. It is never too late. Margaret, the woman I told you about at the beginning, she came back 6 months later. Her vitamin D level had gone from 22 to 48. She'd stopped eating bread with every meal. She was sleeping better. She'd added sauerkraut to her lunch every day. She'd compressed her eating window to 10 hours. She looked different. Not just healthier, more confident. She said something I'll never forget. Nobody ever told me I had this much control. She was right. Nobody tells people over 70 that cancer prevention isn't about luck or genes or expensive treatments. It's about giving your immune system the resources it needs to do the job it's been doing your entire life. Margaret's inflammatory markers dropped by 40%. She went from taking 4 supplements based on internet research to focusing on one evidence-based intervention: vitamin D, stable blood sugar, microbiome support, deep sleep, and daily autophagy. She reduced her cancer risk more in 6 months than she had in the previous 10 years. That question has stayed with me. Why doesn't everyone over 70 know this? Let me summarize the 5 things that prevent cancer after 70. Number 1, get your vitamin D level above 40 nanograms per milliliter and keep it there with daily supplementation. Number 2, eliminate blood sugar spikes by removing foods that cause inflammation after every meal. Number 3, rebuild your microbiome with daily fermented foods and prebiotic fiber from vegetables. Number 4, fix your sleep by addressing nighttime waking, sleep apnea, and anything that prevents deep restorative sleep. Number 5, activate autophagy by compressing your eating into a 10-hour window and giving your body 16 hours to clear out cellular damage. These 5 habits work together. They're not isolated interventions. They're a system that supports the one thing standing between you and abnormal cell growth: your immune system. Here's what I want you to do right now. Pick one of these 5. Just one. The one that resonates most. The one you know you're not doing. And commit to starting it tonight. Then leave a comment and tell me which one you picked. I read every comment, I answer questions, and I want to know what you're working on. If this information helped you see cancer prevention differently, share this video with someone over 70 who needs to hear it. They might not get this information anywhere else. And if you want to keep learning how to protect your health after 70 with evidence-based strategies that actually work, subscribe to this channel. I post post new content every week. This is not medical advice. This is not a replacement for your doctor. I'm sharing what I've learned from 28 years of treating cancer patients and watching patterns emerge. Your situation is unique. Your health history is unique. Work with your physician. Get your levels tested. Make informed decisions based on your specific needs. But don't wait for a diagnosis to start supporting your immune system. The best time to prevent cancer is before abnormal cells have a chance to multiply. That time is now.